Hi everybody, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be making this really simple raised garden bed out of just 3 pieces of timber. So the 3 pieces of timber can be seen on screen right now. We've got 2 lengths of 9x2 and 1 length of 2x2. So in millimeters that's 220 by 47 mil, and I believe the 2x2 is 47 by 50. Okay, all 3 lengths are 2.4 meters long. And that works perfect for the size of the raised bed that we're making, which is going to be 1800 by 600. So that means there is 0 waste on these larger pieces of timber. I'm just going to mark this out now and get a square line across there with my saw. I'm also going to mark down the sides here. So down this back side and also down the front side. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to get a really nice straight cut. And because I'm cutting it with a handsaw, it makes sense to have lines down there that we can follow just to ensure that the saw cuts through nice and straight. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking over and I'm following the line down the front, and I'm also following the line on the top. And once we get it going straight on both these lines, the saw's going to do the work for you. And as you can see, by the time we get to that back line, it's going to go straight down without even looking at it. So that's how you get a nice straight cut with a handsaw. Obviously, if you do have a chop saw or a circular saw, by all means use that. It's going to make life a little bit easier. But I thought this might be a little bit more useful for people who do not have a power tool handy to do the job with. Also, I had a brand new handsaw and it was just there ready to use, so it saves me digging out the chop saw for a job that's really only going to take about 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm lining it all out on the deck now. And this is where I'm going to build it, rather than building it in situ, which should be a bit messy, kneeling about in the mud. And then we can fix the corners together with deck screws. I've got a drill, and I've also got an impact driver. If you don't have an impact driver, that's fine. Just use a cordless drill, and you can switch the drill bit out and the screwdriver bit. So right now I'm just pilot drilling the holes, and this it's just going to avoid any splits in the end of the timber. So pilot hole, 4 pilot holes for 4 screws. Line it all up, make sure it's nice and flush. And then I'm just going to grab the impact driver and just drive these screws in to secure this corner. So the screws that I'm using are 85mm decking screws. You could probably get away with 75mm. However, 85 I think is the perfect length here, and it's not so long that when we put the corner pieces in a second, the screws aren't going to be coming through the other side. So I probably wouldn't go longer than 85. Yeah, so 75, 85. Okay, so once you've got that corner done, you can move on to the other corners. Exactly the same process, just pre-drill them, then put the screws in, make sure everything's lined up nice and neat. And that's it, pretty simple, not very complicated at all. Just get them all fixed up nice and tight, and then we're just going to add the final piece in, which is these corner pieces, which are just going to strengthen the corners up. We're going to get a few more fixings in there. We're going to be fixing from either side a little bit further out, which is just going to solid the frame up a little bit more. Okay, so these were around 10mm shorter than the height of the frame. You can see I'm marking down both sides again so we can get that nice square cut. And we're just going to go through that with a saw. Again, if you've got a chop saw, it's going to be nice and easy with a chop saw, but hand saw is not difficult. Cut that off, and I'll just place that in the corner while I cut the other 3. So I'll cut the other 3 for the 3 remaining corners. Nice and easy. Then we can just put them in place, and it's just a case of screwing these in place again. So for these, I just put 3 screws on either side just to hold it in place. So as you can see here, I'm just working my way around, 3 screws in that side, 3 in there, and then on to the next corner. And as I said, this is just going to solid the frame up. It's just going to make it a little bit stronger. It's going to, you know, avoid them corners opening up at all. They're probably not going to do anyway with 4 screws, but it just gives it that little bit extra. And there we go. As you can see, pretty simple, guys. This didn't take long at all. This took about 15 minutes altogether, and we have the frame ready. Now we just need to put it in place and fill it up. So first things first, I just wanted to level it out and get it, you know, just right. You don't really need to do this, but again, I had the level handy and I just wanted to do it. You can see I'm using a little piece of wood here to hit with the hammer to knock the corners down. The reason I'm doing it on a piece of wood as opposed to the top of the garden bed is I don't want to leave big dents and hammer marks in the top, so just by using an old piece of wood that was lying about, it just avoids any damage. that took 30 seconds just to do that extra bit, and then I can start filling it up with topsoil and some manure and some sharp sand. So I had quite a bit of soil lying around from a previous project, so we used what was left of that. I bought myself some manure. I think I bought that from B&Q for £5 or something. A little bit of sharp sand, and just a case of adding all three of these in layers and just mixing it up, getting a nice little even mix of it. So 10 minutes worth of work here, really not a lot of hard work at all. And yeah, once that was done, just give it another little mix again, and that's it. Job done, guys. Really easy project. No word of a lie, this took around 45 minutes from starting building it to filling it up. At this point right now, the kettle's on in the kitchen, there's some bacon under the grill, and I'll be sat down enjoying that in about 5 minutes. So yeah, really easy job. Anybody can do this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, any comments below, and I will see you in the next video.